Well, here we are. We got two more games in the round of 16, and this is probably the biggest day for me because this is the day where England finally play in the knockout stage, and certainly this is gonna be probably one of the biggest game for England in quite a while. I mean, this is a game that I've been looking forward to for a long time. There's been a lot of media, mostly English media, and also other source media talking about this game and saying that this should be an easy game against Colombia and that we should be able to move on into the next round of the round of 8, also known as the quarterfinal. Not so fast though, because we all know England, and we all know that this is the stage where they always tends to break our hearts. This is literally the curse stage for England, as it's every single tournament. Whenever they get into the knockout stage, they either lose in a heartbreaking fashion in penalties, or they lose to a team that you probably have never heard of before, or they lose because of just technology that wasn't kind of implemented into this game. And against Colombia, certainly this is definitely not a opponent that we should take very lightly. And I also have heard that James Rodriguez would be good enough to be starting in this game. They didn't say that he's 100% fit, but he would be fit enough to play this game against England, and that certainly will make this challenge of winning this game against Colombia a little bit harder, because James Rodriguez is literally the difference maker for this team, and that is why we have to make sure we do a good job trying to mark him. And that's the other thing about this England team, is this defense gonna be good enough so far? And since this is the first big test for England, and since this is the first time they actually play a big opponent, and I know we have played against Belgium, but that was kind of like a friendly game more than a game that we actually really take seriously, because we were gonna move on into the next round, even though we're gonna if we lose that match. So this is really the first competitive match where we are going to play against a big opponent, and if we can win this one, I'm not gonna just quickly say that we are definitely going to be reaching the World Cup final, because if we beat Colombia, the next team that we're going to be facing is either Sweden or Switzerland, and those two teams are definitely easier than Colombia, and those are two teams that I think we definitely could easily beat. But you never know. With England and the knockout stage, they always find a way to break your heart. And with the fact that some people say that this England team is the most talented kind of England team that we had in the last 30 or 40 years, I want to know who in the world are those people thinking. I mean, this England team, I definitely did not expect a lot coming into this World Cup. Like, especially of the fact that we bring so many young players coming into this tournament, so many guys that, from previous kind of generation, when we had the golden generation back in the mid 2000 and into the early teens, when we still had Frank Lampard, Gerrard, and all those guys. This is a relatively new kind of squad for England, and certainly a squad that I'm hoping in the near future we would finally compete and maybe win the World Cup. But this is certainly not a squad that I thought that could definitely compete so early. And so far in the group stage, it has seemed that they have done very well so far, and they have definitely done something that I haven't seen England done in these past couple of World Cup. But then again, like what we have seen so far in many teams in this knockout stage, just because you have a good group stage doesn't mean that you're going to have a knockout stage. When the knockout stage happens, you got to make sure you step it up, and if you don't, you are going to get eliminated. And that, I think, for England, they need to step up in this moment. Harry Kane, I hope that he did not just run out of his magic and use all his magic during the group stage, and he can pretty much be the goal scorer that we really need, and most likely other attacking player like Sterling and Ali's got to step up in this game. And then the midfield situation, are we going to start Jordan Henderson in the midfield, or are we going to start Dyer in there in the midfield? And then the back line, probably it's going to be Stones, Maguire, and then maybe Ashley Young's going to be there in the back line of the back three. And yeah, this is going to be a game that it would be either after the 90-minute, it would be just another disappointment for England in the World Cup, or the fact that maybe we're now one step closer of winning the whole thing. And as much as a lot of England fans are very optimistic about it, I'm trying to keep my optimistic down, and I'm trying to know that I might suffer disappointment after the 90th minute. I'm going to probably expect some huge disappointment in that we are going to lose to Colombia, and that the media is just going to fall out again. But let's just hope that doesn't happen. And also, by the way, I will be going to a viewing party tomorrow. I will be going to Avaya Stadium to watch this match there, and I might vlog it, although I don't think it's going to be a very long one, because I don't want to edit a very long vlog on the same day where I have to do like the review, and also have to do potentially the preview for MLS Action, depending if I can do it tonight or not. But either way, moving on into the other matchup between Sweden and Switzerland. Oh, and by the way, some inside information about this match. England are unbeaten in 5 games against Colombia. The only time Colombia and England has been facing each other was back in '98, and England won that 2-0 in the group stage. And this is also the first time that Colombia has made it into the knockout stage in consecutive World Cup appearance. But in terms of the little kind of facts about the Sweden versus Switzerland match, well, this is actually the 29th meeting between Sweden and Switzerland, but they have never met each other in the major tournament before. They have never met in the Euros or in the World Cup. I'm pretty sure they have met each other in the qualifying round, or maybe in a friendly match, but they have never met each other in a major tournament, which is kind of odd, because this is the 29th meeting, and when you have that many meetings between two countries, you would think that they would at least meet one of each other in a major tournament. And Sweden, of course, are unbeaten in their last 3 games against Switzerland, but Sweden has not made it into the quarterfinal in 64 years, and that was back in 1954, I believe. Yeah, 1954, when the World Cup was actually in Sweden. So yeah, this is certainly a game that, this is a very interesting one, because on one hand, Sweden, I'm pretty sure they're gonna go with their kind of defensive form again and just trying to make Switzerland to break them down. And I have a feeling that the Swiss is gonna be in for a very tough time to try to break this Sweden team down, because this Sweden team is just so organized. They're kind of like one of the many teams in this tournament, one of the many small teams in this tournament that have copied this kind of Jose Mourinho-like tactics, where they just park the bus and just kind of like counter-attacking and stuff like that. And they're one of those teams that is just very organized at the backs. So it's going to definitely take a lot for Switzerland to try to break down the Sweden team. This Swiss team definitely have talented on their team. They definitely have more talent than Sweden, but Sweden is a very organized team, and we have seen so far in this tournament, organization beats talent on the field. And and also the other thing about Switzerland is that they are not going to have Lichtsteiner in this game, because Lichtsteiner got himself a yellow card in that last group stage game, which he got 2 yellow cards if you include the first 2 tournament that he had, and because of that, he has totaled his yellow card accumulation, and he will be suspended for this match. And that is a huge blow to Switzerland, because Lichtsteiner is one of the guy that can really be the heart and soul of this defense that Switzerland has. And without him, then it's gonna be interesting how will the defense be organized with Switzerland. Although they are playing a Sweden team that does not really have a lot of big threat going for on the attack, but they do have some threat going for on the attack whenever they go on the break. But either way, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of these two games? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.